Hello and welcome back to Panic Station, the vlog where I talk to you about stuff that's on my mind. Hopefully everything looks a bit better today. I'm using my phone as opposed to my little crappy handheld camera, which was a bit potatoey, I admit. So here it goes. Two things I'd like to speak to you about today. One I'll get out of the way really quickly is eBay. Now eBay, I mentioned a lot last time, it can be a really great thing but can be really crap at the same time. Now, I've gone on a bit of a tangent at the moment where I am looking for Tetris. I love Tetris. Tetris is one of my favourite games, and I'm trying to find pretty much every single copy that I can get my hands on. The one that I do have is on the Famicom. Now, I love this game, it's great, but I really prefer the version on the NES as opposed to the Famicom. Now, I only have a copy like this in a set, so I've got Super Mario, Tetris, and World Cup Soccer. I don't really play World Cup Soccer, but I got it for free, so I'm not complaining about it. It's all good. Now, because it has Super Mario Brothers, most people would probably think this is really expensive, but it's a 3 for 1, so it's a pretty good deal. But I really want just a copy of Tetris on its own to match with my Famicom Tetris and my Super Tetris 3, which I saw for like $2, so I thought, well, why not? That sounds pretty good. Now, this point will bring me on to my second point. A lot of games at the moment on eBay are really expensive, and you've got to remember that people are going to charge what you are willing to pay. So I put a bid on a couple of different games, one of which had Mario and Duck Hunt and Tetris on its own, and two other not so popular games. Really quickly the bidding went over $50, $60, and I thought I'm not willing to pay that for the games that were in that list. And it brings me to my next point, which is why I collect games from Japan. Now, not all games need to be done in English for you to understand them. Some games, yes, it is pretty important. One game that I have is Myst on the Sega Saturn. Now, this doesn't even work on my console. I don't know why. It's the only import game that I have that will not work on my modified console that will allow everything else to work. It just kind of freezes and crashes, and what can you do? I guess I need a Sega Saturn from Japan. It's on the list, it's later on. But other games, such as Daytona. Daytona USA, fantastic game. I'm sure you've all played it. I mean, who hasn't been down to an arcade or a pub that's had this game in it? Fantastic game. Basically all Japanese on the back, as I'm sure you can probably not see from the way I'm holding it, but when you start the game up, there is no Japanese in it at all. Everything is done in English, and that is fantastic. That means that I can get the game, play it, not an issue. Other games such as Panzer Dragoon, if you try and find that in English, you are paying top dollar. Now, I was lucky enough to find this in Japan for under $10, and I haven't given it a go yet, but from what I've seen, it's fairly simple. I might miss out on a bit of story, but I'm still going to get the enjoyment out of the game. Another such game is Nights into Dreams. Now, this isn't just Nights into Dreams, this is Christmas Nights into Dreams. And I've seen this going for a pretty hefty price on eBay. I picked this up for about $3 in Japan, and it's still sealed. It is still in the plastic. It's got a nice little thank you sticker on the back from where I bought it from, and that's great. But people get this inflated sense of what things are worth, and it really frustrates me because, as I said, I've got Super Mario Brothers, and the second that Super Mario Brothers comes into the equation, you're looking at paying over $50 automatically. And that's annoying because, I mean, why? Why when a game sold over like, what, 40,000 copies, is it such rare and hard to find and exclusive? No, it's pretty easy to find. I can look anywhere and find it. I can go to garage sales and still find a copy of Super Mario. But that brings me on to my next thing. Super Mario Bros. 2, which was technically the Lost Levels. Now, this is for the Famicom disc, and it is the proper Lost Levels as it was known in the West, but this is Super Mario Bros. 2. So to me, this is Super Mario Bros. 2. When everyone talks about the other one, I call it Doki Doki Panic. Panic Station, Doki Doki Panic, yay. But yeah, it's a completely separate game, and you can buy that in Japan, but it's called Super Mario Brothers USA, because people in Japan were obviously like, wow, this looks really good, and they already had Doki Doki Panic, but they were like, well, let's release it in Japan as well. So Japan got both. There are just some games that you cannot get outside of Japan. Japan is a very inclusive society, as I know. I've been there twice, and they have some really good stuff that you can only get there. My next one is Super Mario Bros. 3. Now, finding this in English is really, really hard. I got this for probably about $15. It was a bit more expensive, but that's because the label's not peeling or anything. It's all hasn't been written on like my Tetris has. It's got someone's name in it. I could read it to you, but it doesn't matter. But yeah, it's the kind of style where you can buy this, play it, enjoy the game. It has nearly no Japanese in it. There is no need for you to know Japanese, let alone understand it, read it, write it, everything like that, which I'm trying to do anyway, just because I do love the language. But it's still the enjoyable game that we all love. And this is why I go and I buy things from overseas. Donkey Kong. It's all written in Japanese there, but underneath it's all written nice and plainly in English, and you start the game up and it still says start game. It doesn't have Japanese in it. And that's what a lot of people get put off by, and why a lot of these eBay prices to me just seem ridiculous. Because, I mean, you're going into it and you're going, oh, well, here is, Mario Brothers, and it's going to cost me $50. Whereas I could get Mario Brothers from Japan, exact same game. You need the hardware, which is, fair enough, but you can get converters, you can get adapters, you can get all kinds of things. And it shouldn't cost as much as it does. Super Mario Bros. 3, I know at the moment is going for quite a lot, which is why it was really surprising to me when I saw it in Japan for $15. I'm like, I'm getting that, and my wife said, are you sure? And I said, we're looking at top dollar back in Australia. I love this game. I haven't played it in years. Let's go for that. No worries. I also have a Power Glove that I'm going to have to hook up, and I will try and upload a video of myself playing Super Mario Bros. 3 with the Power Glove, just like out of the Wizard. If you haven't seen the Wizard, go find it. I know it's a bit hard to find in Australia and in Power regions. I'm looking for it on VHS. If you see it on VHS, drop me a link. But yeah, it's silly. It's ridiculous, and I just find it really annoying. Yes, sometimes modifying consoles can have that real grey area feel to it, and I usually like to have a console that isn't modified just so I can have the original hardware that is just running perfectly as it is. But there are other times when it is simply easier to either buy the foreign console and have that as well, as I have with the Famicom and the Famicom Disc, or if you have the console and just chip it in a way where it's nice and subtle, like my Sega Saturn, which literally just has two switches at the back, one for region and one for 50-60 Hz. And I can choose how I want to play the game, and then I can load it up, and if I forget to change it over, it'll just go, oh, this is a music disc, and start playing music, which is still enjoyable. But yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed my rant for the day. Please hit me up on Twitter. Drop a comment below if you like the video. Hopefully this is much better quality than last time. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, and I'll hopefully try to do another video soon. Keep on playing!